Hello, everyone. My name is Ritz and I will be doing my project on the Alabama-Coushatta tribes. So, for some context, I am currently working with the Tribal Youth Crew in the state of Texas with the National Forest Service and AmeriCorps. So I am staying on the reservation with the Alabama-Coushatta people for the next month. I've been here for over a month now, helping these kids do some environmental work and the like. So, a short history of the tribes. They used to be two closely associated but separate tribes that were forced to assimilate by the US government. They made a treaty with Sam Houston to help in the Mexican War to liberate Texas. And they used to live in the areas of what is now known as Alabama. So the Alabama-Coushatta peoples live on a small reservation near Livingston, Texas. It is one of the smallest reservations throughout the nation. Although they do own much of the Big Thicket National Preserve. Though they neighbor a town, there's not much in the way of restaurants or stores on the reservation. They have recently added a casino to attract more money for the tribe, which has brought in people from all around the country to visit their land. I often do not see them in Livingston. Mainly, I see the people on the reservation. Only very occasionally have I run into someone I knew in the town. The majority of the people who live in Livingston are white. And I hardly ever see those people from Livingston on the reservation. The Alabama-Coushatta tribes run the reservation and keep track of all of the goings-on within the land they own. They have their own police system, healthcare system, their own childcare, daycare, and multi-purpose gym. They have quite a lot of stuff for the tribe. They are tasked with keeping track of their culturally important plants, such as longleaf pines, and reforesting parts of the reservation that were destroyed before it came into their care by the forestry industry. In the elementary school on the reservation, they have recently begun to teach the younger generation the languages of their tribes in order to recover what was taken from them back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. So these are some examples of the longleaf pines. You can see they have a little bushy sprout when they are in their like first few years. And then this is a pine savanna, which is what you would find in the Big Thicket and in the on the reservation. And these are some of the baskets that they make and have made throughout most all of their history, from what I understand. So someone I work with from the Coushatta tribe, who is in his mid-20s, told me that he and the other members we work with are all too used to racism. The tribes are forced to go to middle and high schools in other districts outside of the reservation where they face much stigma and dehumanization from the other kids at their schools. Again, mostly white kids. This is also something they face on a regular basis going anywhere outside of the reservation. When we were working with some people in one of the other national forests, I won't say which, but they encountered some racism and some bigotry. When I stayed at the campground on Tom Bigby Lake, I noticed a lack of appliances. I asked a member of the Alabama tribe who is a groundskeeper for the camp why this was. He told me that it was because a famous wrestler and his team had been invited to stay at the cabins while a big tournament was being held at the Veteran Pavilion near the casino. He and his team attempted to steal TVs, cooking supplies, and much else from the campgrounds and cabins. They were caught, but since this occurrence, they have been unable to fully furnish the cabins for liability reasons. And this is Tom Bigby Lake. It's gorgeous. This is the campground. We stayed in one of these cabins, I believe. The majority of the interactions I have with members of the tribe are incredibly awkward, especially with the adults and elders of the tribe. Most of the people I've spoken with seem very cautious and guarded. The youth that I work with from the tribes are also a bit guarded, but they are much more open to positive interaction than that of their elders. As I am an outsider, they do not entrust me with much of the information about their tribes because of the history between white folk and native people. However, the youth and I get along very well, and they often tease me about silly little things. And here are some of the youth that I work with. They're great. I love them so much. Relating to the politics and power section of this course, I am constantly aware of the power I have in the government of this country that the Native people I am surrounded by do not have. In learning the many rules, laws, legislations, and regulations of the heritage sector of the government, particularly in the National Forest Service, I have I have had a realization that it is unfortunately up to people in my position as a white person to advocate for the Native peoples across the country, um, especially the Alabama-Coushatta tribes, since I live near them and I work with them. They have to fight much harder and for far longer for the rights that I have. Privileges I have been given from birth is something they have had to fight tooth and nail for and still do not fully have. From what I've learned in this class and in my job, I hope that I can help to uplift the voices of the tribe and shine the light on them to help them amplify their voices in a way that may reach everyone across the nation, including the government, hopefully. Um, and this is what I was talking about, like some of the legislation that I have learned about NAGPRA. It's a really great um, piece of legislation that was put into place to help repatriation for Native groups across the states. I am currently a heritage intern with the National Forest Service and AmeriCorps. I help the archaeologists on all the national forests in Texas, and I am currently a crew leader for the Tribal Youth Crew in Livingston, Texas, as I mentioned earlier, also through my program. I actually live on the reservation, blah, blah, blah. So I get a firsthand look at their culture here. It's amazing. I've been to one of their powwows, had Indian tacos. It's amazing. My goal in the future is to work on restoring and digging up medieval buildings in England. I would love to work for the National Trust in the UK as I really love their work and their mission aligns with my own as well. So here are the national forests in Texas that I work on. This is Boykin Springs. It's my favorite place. That is in Angelina National Forest. And this is a chalk grassland in the UK. And this is Fountains Abbey, one of the very first abbeys in England, actually. I believe it was in the 1060s. So in the 11th century, I believe. Something I very much want to explore and aid with further in combating cultural appropriation. My goal is to help cultures across the globe to restore and protect their heritage. I would like to interview people from all different backgrounds to study different cultures and ways of life, as I am incredibly interested in people and how they live. Perhaps I can start a blog or write articles about how amazing people can be on the side. Who knows? And yeah, that's all from me. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this class. All right, bye.